We're back here on the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford. One of our John Fourcade specials this week, all remaining 2016 Escapes, $7,500 off. Again, you can visit us at vetchford.com, but all remaining 2016 Escapes, $7,500 down right here at Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. Mike Detillier along with John Fourcade. John, one of the strange things that happened this week, unprecedented for an opening week, 6 football games in the NFL decided by 2 points or less. It has never happened before in the history of the NFL, and 4 of the 6 were decided by 1 point.
1 point.
It goes to show you the parity in the league and how close it was, but really some exciting football games.
Well, it is, and when you look at one of the games that had an exciting football game was right here in the Dome,
right.
35-34. The team that the Saints played this weekend, another game, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants came to a 1-point game as well. So it just goes to show you that, like you said, parity, and I'm glad it's there. You watch some of these teams and you just kind of shake your head at who these guys having at quarterback or who these guys playing with, but it's good to watch football games like that because you don't want to put a football game, it's a blowout like the Monday night game was where Frisco just spanked the Rams. That was embarrassing from a standpoint, but that's going to happen in football games. You know that. You play 16 games. Not all of them going to be 1-pointers or 3-pointers, but I'm glad to see that the way it is in the NFL nowadays that anybody can beat anybody, and it's not always been the saying of your home team's always going to win 80% of the time. I mean, the poor Saints, they were for a while, Mike, we couldn't lose in the Dome, and now we having trouble winning in the Dome.
Yeah, that Dome field advantage is
gone.
not there anymore. But I will say this, the crowd was loud and proud. Man, it was loud in that Dome against the Raiders. I give Derek Carr a lot of credit. Young kid, first time in that Dome stadium, and he handled it extremely well. Another young kid making his mark, Jameis Winston with the Tampa Bay Bucks. We've talked about it all last season, talked about it a couple weeks back. You better not look in the rear view mirror because that guy, I think, is a big-time player as long as he can keep focused on what he's doing. He's got those king-size receivers. Mike Evans is back in the fold now with Doug Martin at running back. Watch out for the Bucks.
Well, let's put it this way. Jameis Winston contacted me this summer and wanted to know how I lost my weight, and
Yeah.
I kind of filled him in. So I'm waiting for that check, Mr. Winston. And the thing about him, Mike, he kept himself out of trouble off the field, and that was the big key. We know kids in college do some stupid things. I mean, I've only done 1 or 2 maybe. But overall, you look at the things that he was being called upon in the offseason and worried about him. Boy, when he started to get into pro football, you haven't heard a word. It's all been good things about what he's done at Tampa Bay, on and off the field, and I'm a little worried about that team. I think Tampa Bay is going to be contending here very shortly, or maybe competing against the Saints and the Carolinas and even Atlanta from a get-go. That you're going to have to fear them because this guy with the receiving core and the running game, all they got to do worry about is their defense. And well, they took it to the Falcons, and I'm impressed with Tampa Bay.
I think the Falcons is on a downslide, but that choo-choo you hear in the background is the Bucks coming real quick. 2 things that I'd like to talk to you about. One is certainly the Cam Newton situation with the hits to the head, and he kind of openly talked about it. The teammates talked about it. The NFL's looked into the shots that he's taken. You were a guy that ran with the football. You look at this 6'5" guy, and it looks as though they were aiming pretty high on him in that Denver game.
You don't ever want to see that, someone directly aiming to get someone injured, and I don't think they were doing it, but they took some shots. Okay, they took their shots. But the thing you got to remember too, when you got a guy like Cam Newton, with the officials, if he's in the pocket, he might get a little bit more calls. But once he gets out the pocket, I think the officiating becomes different with him. Now, granted,
so they're treating him like a runner?
I think they are treating him more like a runner the size of him when he gets out the pocket. Even if he's throwing out the pocket, sometimes he get popped. But when you go to a guy's head, that's you should do that. But my point is this: you can't start putting it in the officials' hands like what I saw last night with Tyrod Taylor did. They took him, made him go out of the game, and he looked like, okay, he got banged, but he wasn't hurt enough, and they took him out. Cam, okay, do you
Where's
take him out?
Where's the protocol?
Right. I mean, how do you got a buzzer in his ear saying,
Yeah.
take a guy, or is it just a judgment call by the officials that you put it in the official's hand again? I don't know what it's going to come to or how it's going to come to it, but I didn't see anything. Cam kept, he kept playing, he kept doing everything. I didn't see anything. He said he was fine. The coaches said he was fine, but how you gonna have some guy on TV or announcer or even official say, "Oh no, you need to get out the game"? Whoa, hold a second here. You're in the middle of a game and a guy's playing well enough. You want to take him out when he's probably not hurt? Just because he looks a little woozy. Well, in your eyes, he might look woozy, but he might not be. So, man, you're putting a lot more now on officiating.
The other thing, too, is Josh Norman. Washington played Pittsburgh. Rarely was he one-on-one with Antonio Bryant. Now, my thing about it, man, when you're paying him that kind of money, John, he's got to line up against the best receiver in pro football.
I'll say this much about this. This is what I've noticed in the NFL. You got DB, and I've noticed it with some teams and with receivers. They don't switch. They'll stay on one side of the field.
So you're a left-hand corner.
So you're a left-hand corner. A lot of guys don't want to go play the right side. Same thing with receiving core. I've seen receivers say, "I'm a right-sided receiver," and it happened when the Colts with Peyton when he was there. They didn't switch over, and now you see that with cornerbacks. They will not flip over because technique is different when you have to flip over and do certain things. But I look at this way: if you're a cover guy, can play one-on-one in the NFL, they've asked you to play all over the place. You play all over the place because if you're getting that much money to be paid to play in the NFL, and you're a top guy, you have got to cover the best player out there.
Yeah, I mean, that just came off weird because if I'm Pittsburgh and I know you're not going to switch, I'm going to put Antonio on that side, and I'm not going to match up against you. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense all across the board. One thing is Dak Prescott. I thought I was impressed with him. Rookie didn't win the game for the Cowboys, but showed a lot of he showed a lot of poise. His defense, it is what it is. Yep. The disappointment to me was Zeke. Elliott running the football behind that offensive line. But I thought Dak showed a lot of poise under center against they didn't get a sack, but they got a lot of pressure on Dak all game long.
He handled himself well for a first-year rookie guy coming in, and they were expecting him just to learn this season and maybe down the road get a little more playing time. Threw him in the fire with Romo's injury, and he came to play. He knew what he had to do. They probably simplified it a little bit for him on the offensive side of the ball. Didn't ask him to do much, what they would do with Romo. But look, they had a chance to catch the pass, maybe get out of bounds, maybe get a 60-something yard field goal attempt. You just don't know with it, but he gave them the opportunity, not losing the game. He didn't do anything to lose the game for, but he gave them the opportunity to go win the game.
But the story of the week was, again, New England. Yes. Jimmy Garoppolo. Going on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. To me, that was the biggest surprise. Without Gronk, without Brady, Rob Ninkovich, all those guys not on the team, and yet he pulls out the W over a really good Arizona Cardinal team.
Look, you got to give credit.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. I mean, he don't care whatsoever what they say about him, how he looks. He knows how to coach and get his guys ready to play. And the thing, Mike, these players want to play for him. That's why the guys are begging to go to New England and take pay cuts or whatever because they know they got a chance for what? The Super Bowl.
Absolutely. We'll talk a lot more about LSU and Tulane when we come back right here on the John Fourcade Show.